they have a lot of opportunity in front of them. And sometimes it feels like in our area, you really have to go and hunt for the opportunity. You have to hunt for those deals.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to The Closing Table. I go by the name of Kevin McIntosh. Joining us on this episode, we will be speaking to another expert in real estate. We'll be talking to Jessica Hensley. How you doing, Jessica?
I'm doing good. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing just great also. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. First and foremost, we are going to get into the nitty gritty of things, but I want to go ahead and break the ice with a quick game. It's called Fill in the Blank. I got 3 sentences for you, right? But they are incomplete. There's some blanks there. I need you to fill those in with whatever information, context, data, whatever you feel is sufficient to make that sentence complete. Sounds good? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First one. I don't know why people think real estate is blank.
Easy. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so that's what I hear a lot, especially from new agents, that, oh, I thought this was going to be a lot easier than it is. And they find out, no, it's pretty challenging. So,
Yeah. It weeds out the week real quick, doesn't it?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's go again. In 10 years, the real estate industry will be blank.
I think it will be different. I think it's always different. You know, it's definitely different than it was 10 years ago. I've been licensed for this year will be 20 years. And the internet wasn't, I mean, there was no Facebook really 20 years ago. I mean, there's so many different innovations. So I think it'll be different, but I don't think we'll be irrelevant. I don't think real estate agents will. There's always going to be a place for the personal touch and for the personal service.
Great note to add to that. Okay. Lastly, blank is the key to longevity as a realtor.
Consistency.
Nice.
Consistent effort yields consistent results.
All right. Well, there it is, Jessica. I appreciate that. That gives us a good little feel into who you are really quick and to your perspective. Before we actually start going into some real estate questions, I really want you to take some time to explain or describe the current market that you serve to the audience who may have never been there.
Yeah, so I live in Southeast Kansas, and I'm licensed in Kansas and Oklahoma. I started out in Oklahoma back in 2003. So my market is a very rural market. We have less than 30,000 in our entire county. My town has around 9,000-ish population. So it's very rural. We're about an hour and a half from Tulsa, 2.5 hours from Wichita, 2.5 hours from Kansas City. So, I mean, we're not quite in the middle of nowhere, but it feels like that sometimes.
Okay, cool. I guess I can kind of get it with what you describing. I can kind of get a feel for that. We have some areas here in Michigan where it's just a lot of land, a lot of rural area, and you might have a town that's kind of near some of our bigger towns and things of that nature. So I kind of get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks
it's
for painting that
definitely
picture.
unique. It seems like a lot of the agents that I talk to are in the more like urban areas, and they have a lot of opportunity in front of them. And sometimes it feels like in our area, you really have to go and hunt for the opportunity. You have to hunt for those deals.
Right.
But I've enjoyed working in this market. The cost of living is lower here. There's a lot of benefits. Definitely slower pace.
Okay.
We just went on vacation in Florida, and I could not believe just how busy and how many people there were everywhere. I forget. I grew up in Oklahoma City, which is a pretty big city, but I forget how that life is. So I enjoy my laid back country life.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, it's so many different cultures within the United States, so many different paces, so many different lifestyles. Like it could be a culture shock when you go to different cities and different states. So yeah, I completely get it. So yeah, thank you for taking us on that ride and describing it for us. when okay, so with you saying that, the first question that just pops up to me is, are there a lot of USDA loans that's going on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. So that's, I would say less than there used to be. The market has become more competitive here, but we really haven't since I've been licensed in this market, it has not
Mhm.
been a seller's market in this area for
It has not been?
it has not been. Now,
Really?
with the exception of the last year and a half, we started
Okay.
seeing the multiple
Okay.
offers, the sellers had a lot more leverage, but,
Mhm.
I mean, even today, we've slipped back into a buyer's market. We just don't have a high demand for, yeah, people buying in the area. I mean, we do have sales happening. I sell
Right, right, right.
last year I sold 138 homes. So anyway, yeah, so it's kind of
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, houses don't just fly off the market overnight. You really have to have some skill to marketing and getting the word out there on the listings.
Man, so that's a whole different way of looking at it, Jessica. And I'm glad you brought that on. 'Cause now that I think back, I think most of the realtors I speak to are in some type of metro area. They don't really deal with too much of the rural, area. And I
Mhm.
never think about it from that perspective of the fact that it can be skewed. It can, it may not be a seller's market like the metro area or like the area where there's a bunch of neighborhoods and homes together, but it's a lot more spaced out. It's a lot more land. I mean, the homes I can just imagine are so completely different, too. So wow, that's a whole different portal in real estate right there. So yeah, we're gonna keep going down that road. I think I'm glad you explained that to us, Jessica. Real estate mega moms. This is a group or organization that you're a part of or that you started. Can you explain this and what it is exactly first and foremost?
Yeah, so Real Estate Mega Moms is a Facebook group, and it's
Okay.
supposed to be kind of like a support group for moms in real estate. I started Real Estate Mega Moms back in 2016, kind of just on a whim. I was looking for other women, especially to connect with, and I knew that I had seen some success despite what I felt was a disadvantage of
Mm,
having a 2-year-old. And I was like, wow, if I can do this, I know other moms can do this. And they probably are. We just don't really have a space to connect. And so I started the group,
okay.
and we have over 26,000 moms in it and, still growing. And I've made some amazing connections. And it's amazing what moms can do, not despite of their kids, but because of their kids.
Ooh, good point. Good perspective there too. I mean, your organization. I mean, the group that you have together. You're helping moms sell 100+ homes without working more hours. Can I repeat that? Without working more hours. If that's not the American dream, I don't know what is. Like you're making more money, you're selling more, and you're not working more. You have more time to give to your family and to your kids. Like, and with you being a mom, I completely understand where that came from. That was basically my follow up question. Like, why you chose to actually even focus on this niche market? But it makes sense. You being a mom, you know the perspective of a mom, you know the lifestyle of a mom, so you want to help mom in that career. So kudos to you.
Thank
At
you.
you.
It's been awesome. I've enjoyed the group, and it's actually I feel like it's changed my life. I've gotten more out of it than I've probably given. But,
Mm,
my whole and I think most coaches are like this. You really your ideal client, your ideal avatar is really yourself. And so I was thinking, what do I need in this market? What do I wish I
I
had
like that. I
as a real
like that.
estate mom?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and that's what I get to do. I sell over
Mhm.
100 homes every year, and I work less than 20 hours in my real estate business each week.
Ooh, wow. Is that considered full? I mean, do you still consider yourself a full-time realtor? With that being said?
I mean, yeah, I think that there's kind of this negative, oh, you're a part-time agent. So I don't necessarily I wouldn't say that because I do full-time results. It's my full-time career. I just have systems that go into it so I don't have to spend 60 hours a week chasing
Yeah.
down things. I have like very consistent things we do every week. And I mean for the last 2 or 3 years have spent less than 20 hours each week in my real estate business and close over 100 homes every year.
And still successful. Look at that right there, ladies and gentlemen. We love to hear it. All right, Jessica, do your thing. You are also a keynote speaker and host of the Abundance Conference. Can you explain what that is first and foremost, and then talk about some of the keynotes that you actually made during that speech?
We hosted our fifth annual. So this is hosted by Real Estate Mega Moms,
Okay.
and it was our fifth annual Abundance Conference. This year it was in Orlando, Florida. And normally we bring in guest speakers, and we did bring in guest speakers, but I've
Mhm.
never been a keynote speaker at my own event. My theory on that was, well, they hear from me every week. They can listen to our podcast. I coach them every week, so
Okay.
they don't want to hear me again. But I was wrong. They did want to hear from us, and they wanted to hear from me and my partners in person. So my keynote speech was about failure and about the key to success is actually failure and being willing to fail and being willing to
Mm.
actually take action in your business and understanding that failure is part of it, but you should pick yourself up, learn from it, and move on. And so I talked about the many, many times in my life and my career that I have been an epic failure, but I kept
Right.
going.
Yeah. Talk about it. That's the definition of resilience right there. Getting through it. So, I mean, you have your own real estate team also, right? A Heritage Homes team, and it's brokered through EXP.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want you to take time to explain this to someone from the outside looking in. What does it mean to manage a real estate team that's brokered by another brand or another
Yeah.
company?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I actually started Heritage Homes Realty in 2015. I was a broker, a boutique broker owner,
Hmm.
and I quickly realized I didn't want to do the paperwork side of it. I didn't want to do the compliance side of it. So I ended up moving my brokerage to a team model with Keller Williams, and I became a mega agent office with Keller Williams. And that was really great. I learned a lot from that company. And then 2.5 years later, this opportunity with EXP came up. And the cool thing about EXP is it's agent owned. You are able to make connections and basically bring people into your world from all over the country. And I have currently 93 agents that have chosen to name me as their sponsor within EXP. And so I found that
Nice.
as far as like comparing the two, Keller Williams versus EXP, for me, there was more opportunity within that world. Also, their training is just as good, and if not more, because there's so many people, so many agents that are willing to share.
Mm,
So yeah, nothing wrong with Keller Williams by any means. Great company, but I have just found my home with EXP and the ecosystem that I'm in.
right, right, right. You know what? I've heard similar stories from different agents on the Closing Table podcast. A lot of them may have, started off with one brokerage, moved on to another, or maybe start off with one and then started their own and things of
Hmm.
that nature. I think it's important for you to kind of like experience different brokerages instead of just staying at one because you can see what they have to offer and compare and contrast their services and then the pass through benefits that the clients could actually take advantage of too. So I like that. I like that you had that experience with multiple brokerages also, and then make the decision on which one was best.
Yeah, and so when I moved my team or my brokerage to the team
Hmm.
model, there was a lot of trial and error, and again, epic
Yeah.
failures with that.
Yeah.
And because it's kind of hard to operate as a team when your agents originally kind of had that brokerage mentality.
Right.
And so unfortunately, I mean, I lost 6 agents in one day one time. And this was back in
Sheesh.
2019, and it was shortly after moving to Keller Williams.
Mm.
6 agents and an assistant all came into my office one at a time throughout the day. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? But through that, best thing that could ever have happened to me, because I was able to really rebirth what my vision was that I didn't even fully understand yet, to
Hmm.
have this team model. And I was telling you earlier, I'm actually writing a book about it right now about how to create this model that gives you the
Oh
results
yeah.
like I have. And I call it a micro team. So,
Mm.
you probably have heard the term mega team, all these
Right.
mega team leaders that have maybe 50 agents out there. But what I found was they are actually sometimes not as profitable as the micro team model because they have so much overhead and they have these big splits with their team members
Right.
and like there's so much expectation on their shoulders where I think most agents really that's not their dream. They don't really they think that that's the next step that they have to be a mega team and recruit all these agents and that's how they're going to be a successful team leader. But in reality, they just want a little bit of help and they don't want to have to do it all themselves and they don't want to do it alone because it's a lonely business.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah,
Good
so
point.
the micro
Mm.
team model is basically one leader, and in my case, that's me. I'm the primary
Yep.
producer, and then you have admin help. And sometimes
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
licensed, but it's more of an admin heavy independent contractor employee type model. And I have one full time staff member, and then I have three people that do like contractor work that most of them are paid by the transaction. So it's not a lot of overhead. No, nobody's overworked. My
Yep.
profit is
Yep.
through the roof as far as percentage. So
Hmm.
it's just such a better model.
There it is. There it is. See, this I feel like that's a great example in a specific market to a different industry that's still been going on in the tech field for the most part. They've been downsizing a lot, trying to get rid of the fat, cut the fat off, and just pretty much still get the same job done with the fewest amount of people. And a
Yeah.
lot of people are finding out that they can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You save money, you save money on your bottom line and things of that nature. So I think you're speaking on that. And it's probably going to be the wave going forward for the nearby future, if you ask me. Unfortunately, a lot of jobs are going to be lost, but it is what it is. So,
Yeah, I mean, and I think that the people are happier. I mean, I can just speak to my own model and my own experience. The
hmm,
people that I've had working for me, they are so much happier with this model that we have because they know exactly what's expected of them. They're
yeah,
not guessing. They feel empowered to do their job. I was just able to take a vacation and to host that conference, and I was away from my business for 3 weeks. And I didn't take a phone call. I didn't have to do anything in my business. I was able to hit forward, and my team handled everything for me from showing
there you
houses
go.
to writing
Yeah.
contracts to even scheduling appointments for me when I came back for listing appointments. When I came back, I had 5 closings. Three of them I didn't even show. I had never even seen the house. So, and those were pending before I left, but still, it's like,
Right.
I don't think, and maybe some people even feel guilty, like, but the thing is, like, we are all so happy. Everyone's making the income they want. Our clients are well
Mhm.
cared for. So, I mean, this is what's possible.
Facts, facts. Yeah, speak on it. And you're a real live example of that too. So that works even better. Yeah, appreciate that. Nice. Jessica, you already spoke on it that you've been licensed since 2003 in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and then in 2005 you were licensed in Kansas.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, okay, two different states. Can we talk about the differences in these two markets? I know they're near each other, but still, can you talk about the compare and contrast of the two?
Sure. So I started out in Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is where OSU is, Oklahoma State University.
Okay,
I was going to
okay.
college there, and through some kind of unforeseen circumstances, I was only 18 years old. My dad was like, "Hey, I have this real estate class. I'm not going to be able to take it. Do you want to take the class?" So I'm like, "Well, I have no other plan, so sure." So I just kind of fell into it. It wasn't my dream, but I ended up really liking it, and I'm like, "Why am I
Mm.
going to college?" Okay, I'm not saying college isn't for some people, but it really wasn't for me.
I hear you. I hear you.
So
Yeah.
I dropped out of college, and I did pretty good there the first 2 years, and then 2005, I got married, and my husband's from this area, and so he wanted to move back to Kansas.
Mm.
Um, they're very similar as far as the pace and the people, and I would say Oklahoma has cheaper property taxes, so I feel like in some ways we're
Mm.
right on the border. So Kansas people kind of want to go to Oklahoma, a lot of us,
I bet.
because they're cheaper with taxes. Um, the other difference is Oklahoma's an abstract state. I mean, I think there's maybe one or two other states in the entire union that is an abstract state, which means it's like a book of a history of anything that's ever happened to the
That's
property.
true.
they
Right.
have
Okay.
to update it, anytime the property sells, and so it's kind of interesting.
Right. Right.
And Kansas is just title state, just like most. But yeah, I mean, as far as the differences, we're right on the border, so it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, yeah. I bet that does make it interesting, especially with you being licensed in both, and what you just explained. One of the major differences being the property taxes being cheaper.
Yeah,
Oh man, like if I can work in one and just live in the other one, I mean, I know I'm pretty sure that's probably going up,
marijuana is
right?
also legal in Oklahoma, so that's another big difference between Oklahoma and Kansas. As
Interesting.
far as
Oh
people
yeah.
wanting to buy there. Yeah,
Right,
we get
right,
a
right.
lot of out-of-state people that ask that question.
Oh,
So,
nice. Okay, okay. All right, so I got some numbers I want to talk about. This is coming from redfin.com. February 2023, 13.3% of homes in Kansas sold below list price, which is down year over year. They were only 19.9% of homes that had price drops, and that's up year over year. But there's one estimated month of inventory. I got to ask, how do you think this will affect the negotiations between your buyers and your sellers?
I mean, there is a lack of inventory, that's true. For my area, it's mostly a lack of inventory for a select type of property. So like that, um, I don't know, between maybe 150 and 300 and an acre or something in the country, outside of the city limits. Again, taxes is a big deal here because property taxes
Okay.
in Kansas are high. So those
Mm,
properties are highly in demand. There is a shortage, and so those type of properties, when they hit the market, they will sell pretty quickly. We are not seeing as many multiple offers, although I
mm.
had one as recently as January where I had 8 offers on it. So it just depends on how it's positioned and the experience of the agent, I think, as well.
Okay.
Um, so how do I think it's going to affect things? I don't think that's going to last with the interest rates continuing to go up. I feel like we'll see more properties come on the market. Um, I don't anticipate us to have a continued like crazy market. We did have a crazy market the last 2 years for sure.
Right,
We had
right,
multiple
right.
offers just like everyone else. It was just maybe like, you know, a lower a lower speed than everyone else. So
It was relative to the market. I get you.
yeah, yeah. We
Okay.
we've described it, me and my business partners at Real Estate Mega Moms, like we all just came off of a cocaine fueled frat party and like we're just getting to normal. And I think that's how most real estate agents feel. It's like, okay, I can breathe again.
I love the analogy.
Something you
That
probably wouldn't expect
was
from me, but anyway.
Oh, that was funny. Okay. Okay, so all right. So you brought something up that made me I forgot what it was exactly. I wanted to touch on that. Maybe I'll bring it back up again.
The certain type of property that's in demand.
No, but you know what? Okay, this is what it was. So the weather, the seasons, this might seem weird, but it's not. So in Michigan, we experience all four seasons, believe it or not, sometimes in one week. But in Oklahoma or Kansas, I would assume it's a lot more warmer there, correct? Season year round? You don't really
Um,
deal with snow too much, right?
Correct. Yeah, we
Okay.
do have all 4 seasons. I guess it depends on your definition of that, but we get maybe, like, 1 or 2 snows a year if we're
Mm,
lucky. Like,
okay.
we're excited when it snows. We probably get more ice than anything, but we definitely have all 4. So today, it was in the 30s in the morning, and it's gonna be, like, in the 60s this afternoon. So we're seeing,
Mm,
like, typical, yeah,
got you.
spring weather.
Okay, so I brought that up because I wanted to see if your market experiences seasonal fluctuation, right? Because in our area, during the fall and winter months, we're not getting as much buyers and seller activities during the spring and the summer months. So is it the same with you all? Is it like kind of chilled out during the fall and winter, or because the weather's a little bit more mild, that it's pretty much consistent year round?
We definitely, over the last 20 years, I've always felt like it slows down from October to like January. And I
Okay,
don't know that it's the
holiday season.
weather. Yeah, I
Right,
think it's
right, right.
holidays. I think it's, I mean, there's probably a number of factors, but our typical busier time is February to June, July, and
Okay.
we just did a podcast on this actually, like where we talked about what's the deal with the spring market. Like, is it a thing? Why is there a spring market? I always tell my buyers and sellers like that's the busiest time. If you want to sell, do it in the spring.
Mm.
And for us, that's because we are in a lower price point. We do have people doing rural development FHA loans, which means if they're getting money back on their taxes, that's their opportunity to have their down payment or closing
Right.
cost.
Right.
And
Right.
I know that's not for everyone, but for us, we have a lower income population, we have a lower price point. So that tends to like kind of give us a little bit of extra fuel in our market.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. All right. So, in Oklahoma, they're saying on average the number of homes sold was down 18.4% year over year, and the median days on the market was 37 days, which is up 21. I mean, you will be able to speak on this more accurately. This is just data, but you're in that actual market. How do you plan to effectively market and promote your client's property to ensure that they sell quickly and at the best possible price?
I mean, I think that pricing it right in the beginning has a lot to do with how quickly it sells. And then we
Hmm.
do have a plan for our sellers to make sure their house is marketable, for lack of better words. So, we get professional photos on everything we do and we give them a checklist, make sure your house is hitting all these marks so we can get the best pictures. I know a lot of people buy and this is old data from Redfin, but I if you look at the
Hmm.
migration pattern, that's a really fascinating one to look at on their
I have
website.
seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I actually print that out and put it in my listing packet because
Right.
about 40% of all buyers are coming from out of state to our area.
Mm. Mm.
So, that's a pretty big chunk of people buying from out of the area. I closed on a house last week that was sight unseen. This was one of or not last week, a couple weeks ago. This is one of those 5 houses that I had never seen. It was a
Okay.
sight unseen offer. My showing agent did the video walkthrough. The buyers are from Alaska, and they have never came down and saw the house. And so that's pretty typical. I mean, we are seeing that more and more of people buying from out of state, sight unseen. Of course, we have them get inspections. We do all
Okay.
our due,
That
due
was my next
diligence.
question. Okay.
Yeah, make sure that they're getting what they thought.
Okay.
But the thing is, they bought this house for I think it was 165,000, 5 acres, and the house needed a little bit of
Man.
work. I know, and
Oh.
so they're like,
Oh my
"Well,
goodness.
I don't really have a lot to lose." So
Oh my goodness. What am I doing in Michigan, man? Goodness, that sounds crazy.
the prices are, yeah, crazy.
I mean, but like I always talk about, it's always relative to the
Yeah.
market. It's location, location, location. We all know that. Hey,
Mhm.
hey, Jessica, I want to pick your brain a little bit, right? I want to, just see where you're gonna go with this. If you had unlimited resources and time, what kind of project would you want to work on and why?
Hmm. Oh, that's a good question. I think what I'm working towards in my life right now is I want to help more women find success. And it doesn't have to be in real estate. We're actually starting to work with people that are loan officers and insurance agents. But I think that
Okay.
they're women, especially the ones I'm talking to and connecting with, they they don't believe in themselves and they don't know that they're capable of accomplishing so much. They have
Right,
either
right.
guilt around it or insecurities about all the reasons why they can't do it. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm working towards. And if I had unlimited resources, I would just train everyone for free. That would be amazing. But flip side of that coin, I do feel like people value the things that they pay for and they show up for things that they pay for. So I don't know,
Nice.
but anyway, but yeah, that's my passion is helping women. Yeah.
Got you, got you. Great answer too, and that's right on par. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time, and thank you for pulling up a chair to the closing table, Jessica. Before we get out of here, if you have any last words and or want to tell the people how they can reach out to you, please do so now.
Thank you for having me. This was great. They
Yeah,
can
yeah.
reach me by going to our website, realestatemegamoms.com, or you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is with underscore Jessica Hensley.
There it is. Thank you again, Jessica Hensley. If you are in her area, Oklahoma, Kansas, make sure you contact her. And for our YouTube audience, hey, you got to do us a favor if you got this far in the video. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. And also hit the share button for us and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Jessica, I'd like to leave our audience with a question before we leave up out of here. Get their brains turning.
Okay.
Hey, audience, what's the number one thing you do not have in your current home that is a must-have in your next home? Don't tell me now. Leave them in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you next time.